How's it going, Mike?
How are you guys doing?
Good, good, good. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with Lawrence Owen.
Hello, Mike. Pleasure to meet you. My question for you is coming in to the professional leagues from college, you walk into a very young wide receiving core roster, right, for the Indianapolis Colts outside of T.Y. Hilton. What's it like being there with all these young guys, but having T.Y. there as well?
Well, it's great having Ty there. Most of the guys look up to him. He's a great experienced wide receiver. He knows the ins and the outs of the game. So we learn from him. We build off of each other. We love coming in and being able to compete with each other. So it's great being all of us being together.
All right, next we'll go to Andrew Thompson.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for taking the time to be here. My question for you is there a player that you maybe watched growing up that you try to model your game after?
Two players that I kind of watched and studied growing up was number one, Kylen Granson, and number two, Michael Irvin. And I've also had the opportunity to meet Michael Irvin, and those two players, they're great. They're in the Hall of Fame. So much to learn from them, especially what they did throughout the course of their career. And they're bigger type receivers, and that's what I am, and that's what I study when I'm watching the game. So those two players is who I look up to.
All right, Cody Felger.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this. My question is, coming from a D2 school already, how different has it been for you? And what do you think will be some of the biggest, I guess, challenges is the word, making that transition from D2 now to the NFL?
It is a big transition, but it's nothing that, I can't handle. I love being here. I love the competition. It is a higher level, so it's just being able to come in and, learn everything quick and be able to compete on this high level. But, that's something I've been doing so far, and, I don't plan to stop.
All right, Destin Adams.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this. And I think the biggest thing that everyone has said about you ever since you were drafted is your size and how big of an asset that's going to be to your game. What's another area of your game that you think is really going to help you at the next level?
My speed, definitely. I'm more fast than what people think. I have the ability to move, use my size to my advantage, and come in and out of my breaks. So my speed is definitely something that I use to my advantage also with my size.
All right, Jeremy Swopes.
Hey, Mike. Nice to see you. Thank you for your time. Being new to the Colts and new to the community, what do you think is something, and this isn't so much as a football question, as what do you bring to the community that we don't already have here?
I'm a great guy even off the field. I love being able to interact with, fans, people who look up to the Colts, and just being a great guy even off the field, being somebody who's motivating, easygoing, and just representing the Colts in a bigger way.
Okay, Stephen Burton.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this. So I'm curious, you were kind of utterly dominant the last year you were at Charleston. What were you able to do last year with the season being postponed to the spring and not really having football activity to do during the fall?
I was able to get, a lot of one-on-one work, especially at my position, being able to better my route running, being able to, to touch up on a few details when it comes to, my position specifics. So I was able to get a lot of work in, even on my own. I had a lot of free time, so I was able to go out, do some footwork, do a lot of extra catching, and it made me better. So I never stopped working when I heard, our season was postponed or canceled, sorry. So I just kept working.
All right, we'll go back to Cody Felger.
Michael Pittman also is a guy that's known for his size, right, and more of a guy like that. I'm curious if you've had a lot of contact with him already. I know he just had a kid, but how much have you kind of picked his brain already on the transition to the NFL, and just you guys using similar styles there in terms of your body size?
Yeah, he's a pretty good receiver. He's also somebody, some of the guys look up to, and I also watch him because he, like you mentioned, he has, the sort of the similar size as me. So I watch to see how he runs his routes, how he makes different plays in transition. So he's a pretty good receiver and somebody, you could look up to.
All right, and then we'll finish up here with Lawrence Owen.
So I have a question about what you work on most when it comes to improving yourself as an athlete. Do you find your strengths and try to make them stronger to make you more impossible to cover in that situation, or do you look for a weakness that you might, or deficiency, mind you, that you try to bring up to make yourself a more complete receiver?
Well, I'm kind of both. I take my strengths and I take them to another level because your strength is your strength. You have to keep those, up to where you need it to be. But also I work on my weaknesses, whatever the case may be. I come out, and I just work on it and see if I could, get better all around.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Hello.
Kylen, how's it going?
Good. How are y'all?
Good. All right. We'll go ahead and get started with Destin Adams.
Hey, Kylen, thanks for doing this today, man. My question to you is, what aspect of your game do you want to work on the most to be as effective as you can at the next level?
As far as my game, I feel like the first thing that stands out to just about everybody is that just the fact I haven't done as much inline stuff in the past. Coming from SMU, we were more of a spread out offense. I mostly lined up in the wing. At times I'll put my hand in the dirt. But going forward, now that I'm here at the Colts, definitely going to need to put my hand in the dirt more.
Cody Felger.
Hey, Kylen. My question for you is, what have been some of the biggest things, in the 2 weeks you've been working with Carson, some of the biggest things that have stood out to you?
Oh, man. I mean, I've had the chance to catch the ball with a lot of great quarterbacks. And, man, when I tell you that thing's got some other world zip, man, that thing's taking the stick off my gloves. But, yeah, I mean, just the way he wants his routes run, the way the timing's already coming together. I mean, I can tell he's one of the few special ones. And, it's been a blast. I grew up watching him on TV, and it's kind of otherworldly to me to be catching balls from him now. So once I stop acting like a little schoolgirl out there, we're going to have some fun, move the ball down the field.
All right, Lawrence Owen.
So coming into the draft, a lot of people, I noticed reports that were stating that you needed improvement in the blocking area, and I went and checked out the film and I saw something completely different. What would you say if you had to talk to some of these guys that said that you weren't a good blocker? What would you say to them currently right now?
I'm glad you noticed that I can actually block. If they were here right now, I'd be like, well, I respect your opinion. Everyone's entitled to that. I humbly disagree. Here's the film to show you that I can block. It's just, I guess I don't meet their criteria. So, but yeah, I would disagree wholeheartedly. Yeah.
All right, Andrew Thomason.
Hi, Kylen. Thanks again for taking the time to be here. My question for you is, I guess last year in the Colts offense, some would say they were really missing the tight end that could really stretch the field vertically, big chunk plays down the field. Is that a part of your game that you think you could help bring to this Colts offense this coming season?
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%. I mean, coming from a wide receiver standpoint, I mean, at SMU, that's all I did was stretch the field, get on the mismatch on the outside, on the inside, line me up on a back or a safety. Either way, they're losing. So, yeah, just bringing that to this next level here at the Colts organization, I feel like, yeah, that's definitely the role that I'm going to fit into.
All right, Jeremy Swopes.
Hey, Kylen, Coach Slope from D-Line Sports. Thanks for the shout out on race day. I appreciate that. But I have a question. Being in the Colts tight end room, there seems to be a lot of versatility between the three. You guys are very different in the styles that you guys play the tight end position between Mo Alley and Jack and yourself. What have you learned from those guys that you can take and put into your game?
Coming into the room, I definitely realized, just the differences in body types between me, Jack, and Mo Alley. But what I found out is that a lot of the things they did that made their game, I could also utilize. Whether that's just footwork, the way they come in and out of routes, the way they get off the line. There's just a bunch of tools that I hadn't necessarily realized before. But in meetings, listening to those guys talk with Coach Adams, watching them run on the field, watching their tape, that you start to realize, just little pieces and nuggets that you kind of can put into your own game. And I feel like it's taken my game up to the next level, so to speak.
Stephen Burton.
Hey, Kylen, thanks again for doing this, man. So I'm super curious who, watching your tape at SMU and seeing how you play and stretch the field, who do you model your game after, maybe currently in the NFL or just maybe your favorite tight end you've ever watched?
That's a loaded question. Let's see. So I guess for a tight end, I model my game off of kind of more like Evan Ingram type deal. Real athletic, can run real well. And then my favorite tight end, my favorite tight end used to be Tony Gonzalez. He was great, but obviously I'm not as tall, sadly, as everyone will tell you. Oh, he's kind of small for a tight end. But, definitely look up to him and Gronk, even Jason Witten, Jack Doyle. I mean, I watched some of his stuff as well as Mo Alley's. So, I really pulled from a bunch of different places. But, yeah, I'd say Tony was my guy, and then Evan Ingram's my model. So,
All right, Matthew Radden.
Yes, sir. Really appreciate you doing this, Kylen. I just want to ask, man, you had talked earlier about, you being in practice and, star-studded, if you will, kind of stars in the eyes. Is there anybody that's kind of helped ground you? I can imagine that transition is probably pretty big. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out that's really kind of helped you kind of get used to the Colts organization?
Sort of ground me. I'd say, my boy Sam Ellinger, the quarterback, we high school boys. So he's kind of my grounding force because I'm like, dude, we're out here with all these guys. He's like, dude, it's just high school. Calm down. But nah. But for real, yeah, having Sam here, having someone I've played with before, he's kind of been a grounding force. And all the guys that I've met, they're all really nice, really good guys, really good people. And that's what the first thing I realized about this organization is just not only the coaches, not only sports staff, everywhere you go, there's good people. And that's made this transition as seamless as it's a seamless transition. I'm enjoying it.
All right, we'll go back to Justin Adams.
You mentioned your size earlier. Some people saying that you might be undersized. Seeing someone like Frank Reich, who's had success with someone like Trey Burton, who's very similar in size to you, when you were drafted, did that give you a little bit of a sense that you could impact day one?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you've already basically seen someone take a similar piece of the puzzle and utilize it in that same way, I feel like it's just, Control C, Control V, copy, paste, bam, right there. So, it's definitely a good feeling to see that he's had success in the past. So hoping to bring it to the present and hopefully the future too.
All right, and the last one will go to Cody Felger.
Kylen, you mentioned a little bit about Jack Doyle, Mo Alley Cox being in the, with them a little bit. I'm curious, now that you guys have a little bit of a break, what are some things maybe you took from them that you're looking to potentially refine in your game before training camp comes?
So if I had to live, I'm not gonna. So I'd say the biggest thing as far as I've taken from both of them is just how sound their footwork is at all times. Like their feet are always consistently pretty much in the same place every time based on whatever play it is. So their footwork is freaking precise. And then even more so their pad level as well, coming out of the stance, in and out of routes, all that stuff, their pad level stays the same, and it just makes them so hard to cover whenever their pad level doesn't change, and all of a sudden, oh, they're going left, oh, they're going right, oh, they're going back, oh, they're going forward, you know. So, you know, just those were some of the first things I took away as far as the technique and stuff goes like that. I'm sure there's going to be much more that I'm just scratching the surface, but as far as the first couple weeks of takeaways, those are mine.
All right. Thank you, Kylen.
All right. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. This play.
All right. And lastly, we will be joined by Will Fries. How's it going, Will? I think you're still muted. How's it going, Will?
What's up? How you doing?
Good. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with Destin Adams.
Sorry there. Hey, Will, thanks for doing this. I know that you worked with Paul Alexander during the draft process and maybe before that. How did that training prepare you for the Colts blocking systems with Coach Strachan?
Yeah, you know, working with Coach was great. You know, doing it at a high level for so many years. You know, definitely bringing his knowledge, you know, to what we're doing now. You know, it's helped me out a ton. Just anytime you've done it at that level for so long, you know, the knowledge leaks over, and you know, it's helped me out so far.
Andrew Thompson.
Hi, Will. Thanks again for taking the time to do this. My question for you is, given your versatility that you had while in college, is that something that maybe Coach Strouser or Chris Ballard or Coach Wright talked to you about in terms of what you could potentially bring to the offense? I know the Colts had Joe Haig, an offensive lineman that was very versatile here a few years ago. Is that something you maybe look to bring to the offense?
Yeah, definitely. I think you know, the more you can do, you know, always the better. You know, especially at you know, this level, and you know, that's what my plan is. You know, be able to play, you know, all 5 positions. You know, play them all at a high level. You know, knowing all the schemes and techniques for everything is you know, definitely a goal of mine and something I want to continue to keep working on.
Jeremy Swopes.
Thank you for your time today, Will. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about coming from the Big Ten and playing at Penn State, the difference in the talent level that you've played against there versus the talent level that you face now, and how you've adjusted to that so far.
Yeah, I think playing in the Big Ten, you know, play a lot of, you know, high level guys, a lot of, you know, first, second round draft picks. You know, while I was at Penn State, and you know, there's no different when I'm here. You know, everyone here is really elite, really good. You know, I think playing at Penn State, you know, playing against those guys has helped me with that transition. But obviously, you know, when you get to the NFL, and you know, guys are, you know, just that much more explosive, that much faster. You know, having those reps, you know, in the back of my mind has definitely helped, and it's you know, going forward, going to keep helping me.
Cody Felger.
Hey, Will, how's it been so far working alongside guys like Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, Mark Galinsky, Braden Smith, some of those guys that are a big part of one of the better offensive lines in the league?
Yeah, it's been awesome. You know, I think, you know, being the rookie, I want to, you know, absorb everything I can from them. Those guys have played, you know, so many snaps at such a high level, and, you know, they're a really tight group. You know, I just want to do everything I can to keep learning from them. You know, they, all their techniques, you know, all the nuances of the game. I want to keep, you know, absorbing those sort of things. And, you know, they've all been great, you know, helped me out with technique stuff as I'm making this transition. And I look forward to keep learning from them.
Lawrence Owen.
Hello, Will. My question is, football is a very emotional sport, especially at the position that you play. I'm curious how you balance letting like that fire and drive get you to a point where you can get the advantage over a guy in front of you, and yet trying to keep your calm so that you don't make a mistake or miss something.
Yeah, I think kind of like you said, my mindset's always been, you know, play just very even keeled. You don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low. You know, I found when you get too high, you get too hyped up. You just, you know, can't think and react like you should. But when you're playing, you know, even keeled. You're locked in, you're focused, you can react, to the situation you have at hand. And, when the game's that much faster, I think be able to, think clearly and, react and play as fast as you can, is just really, really key.
Oh, sorry. Matthew Radden.
Yes, sir. Really appreciate you, Will, doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, sir. So you would, man, you played basically every position on the O-line in Penn State, man. Is there a preferred position for you? Like, let's say, your ideal scenario coming into the NFL.
Matt, I don't know if there really is an ideal scenario when, you just want to, fight to get better every single day. Obviously, I've, played the most of my, reps at Penn State on the right side. But I feel comfortable playing, anywhere. That's not really a big issue for me. In practice, I'm taking reps everywhere. I'm trying to, balance it out, get comfortable both sides, and I have been. So I feel good playing anywhere.
All right, we'll go back to Destin Adams.
You mentioned earlier playing in the Big Ten, you were able to play against a lot of eventual first and second round picks on the defensive line position. So what game or what player did you match up against in college at one point that really made you think, yeah, I can make it at the next level as well?
Yeah, I don't know if there was ever that exact moment for me. I think that especially when I was a younger guy, redshirt freshman, playing against some of these guys and, being able to, play well, that just gives you confidence week in and week out. You never have a break, who you're going against. You always have, a top-notch guy. And, that's the same thing, that's going to be at this level. So being able to have that focus and have that confidence, being able to study guys and, kind of have that plan going against certain players. It just gives you confidence going into week in, week out, just keep playing at, at that high level.
All right, Cody Felger.
Well, you guys have a few weeks until you guys start training camp. I'm curious for you, are there any particular things in your game you're looking to refine or get better in before that time?
Yeah, I think there's, a lot of work I still want to do. Kind of like I was saying before, I want to get better every single day. To get more specific with that, I just want to keep working on my posture. That's something that I just want to keep, being a lead at, keep working those fundamentals that it takes to play offensive line. I think that's the most important thing. Just working to get out of my stance, things like that, that you have to do every single play to be successful. I just want to work on those little things and just keep getting good at those things.
All right, and then we'll finish up here with Lawrence Owen.
So the Indianapolis Colts offensive line is a very tight-knit group. They kind of look out for each other and things of that nature. Since you've been here, has there been anyone in particular or as a group in a whole that has really taken you in, given you advice, tips, things of that nature?
Yeah, I felt like Quentin Nelson's the guy that's, helped me out a lot so far, just as far as helped me out with plays, technique, things like that. He's just helped me out and, I appreciate him doing that for me.
All right. Thank you, Will. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, Will.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Matt.